Parshas VaYakhel. So we have at the beginning the Sedra. Pasuk says, "VaYakhel Moshe has called us bnei Yisrael v'yomer leim ela dvarim asher tziva Hashem la'asos osam." So Moshe Rabbeinu gathered all the Yidden together, and then he said, "Sheish Yisrael mitayasem malocha. 6 days you'll do work of Yom HaShvi, Yeh Lechem Kodesh Shabbos. Shabbos Shabbos and Lashem Kolosav Maloch Yumas." Then he gave them the tzivui of Shabbos, and as we know, the entire parsha is a parsha from the Mishkan. These two parts of Yaakov B'Kudei are really the sikkum of the Seder Mishkan from Truma, Tetzaveh, Kisisa, last half of Sefer Shmos. So the shaila is, what's this mitzvah Shabbos doing right here? It's not the first time it appears in the Torah. The shaila is, what's it doing right here? So Rashi brings, Hiktam lehem azor Shabbos l'tzivui melechas Mishkan, that the azor for Shabbos precedes the tzivul melechas Mishkan, which is to follow. Lomar she'ena doiches Shabbos. Melechas Mishkan is not doiche Shabbos. So the kasha is like this. The kasha is very simple. We know, for example, by Yom Tov that Ochel Nefesh is doiche Yom Tov, but machshiri Ochel Nefesh is not doiche Yom Tov. That's some Ochel Nefesh, but not machshiri. Of course, it's machshiri if it's something that you have to do on Yom Tov and not on Yom Tov. That's a whole shaila and haloch. But Pashtus is the building the Mishkan is the tzorach the karbonis, and the tzorach the avodah. So the avodah l'choira is that which we could be doicha Shabbos, but the melechas of Mishkan, which is the binyan of the Mishkan, why would that be doicha Shabbos? What's the havamina? Rashi says we have a parsha that tell me Shabbos that melechas Mishkan is not doicha Shabbos. What's the havamina? Why would melechas Mishkan be doicha Shabbos? So you have to understand what the havamina is in Rashi. The famous Gemara in Megillah. Megillah says, "Kol bidei Shemayim chutz miyira Shemayim." Everything is bidei Shemayim in Baruch Hashem's hands except for Yira Shemayim. Listen to Rashi. Also mesur b'yidei Adam, miyira Shemayim is given to a man's hand. Shehu atzol mechel libu lekach. He can prepare his heart for Yira Shemayim. Afagav sheyachol is biyod Allah, la'achim b'levaveinu. Even the Baruch Hashem could prepare our hearts also. To exceive. The Baruch Hashem could have been making our hearts also. But he gives it over to us to be making our hearts for Yira Shemayim. Now, what does that mean? It's mashma from the Gemara, from Chazal, that Yira Shemayim is also not biyad Adam. Even Yira Shemayim is biyad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kol b'dei Shemayim, chutz b'Yira Shemayim, even Yira Shemayim is a kol b'dei Shemayim. What for Adam? So when the Gemara says that a kol b'dei Shemayim chutz b'Yira Shemayim, it doesn't mean Yira Shemayim itself. That's about Tanim Shemayim. But the achona, to go ahead, that's what Rashi says. This is given over to be mechel libu lekach. So you see what? The achona is considered Yira Shemayim. That's my chiluk in Yira Shemayim. The achona, the preparation itself, is keilu I did the yasiyah of Yira Shemayim. That's what's mashma in the Gemara. But it's mashma elsewhere is also. You see by nevuah, the Rambam brings in Hilchos Yisodei Torah Perek Shvi, Yisodei das leider shakel mu'al menaves v'deyad. Baruch Hashem gives nevuah. Ve'en nevuah chala ela chacham god b'chacham. He's a great in chacham. Gibur b'yidosav. He's a gigantic in his midas. V'lei yitzur misgaber olav. He's able to control himself b'dover olam. Elahu misgaber b'dayit al yitzur tamid. He's a person who perfects his character, his das, etc. Bal dayarach b'nechona admo. So he gets to the point where mamish, his whole life, everything is only focused on nevuah. That's what a navi is. But listen to the Rambam. The Rambam says in Halacha Hey, Eila shem mevakshel yisnave, the ones who want to have nevuah, heim nikroim hanavim. They're called b'nei avim. And even though they have kavanah to have nevuah, and they went through all of these steps to become a zayid who's shaykh the nevuah, efsher tishishcha leim shchina, efsher tishlu tishra. It's on his hands. No Navi has the power to have nevuah. All he can do is make lekach, like Yira Shemayim. But the nevuah is Meis Hashem. That's what Rambam says. So what do you see? You see, when it comes to making this connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu, whether it's Yira Shemayim, whether it's nevuah, an Adam's chelik is not to make it happen, so to speak. You can't make it happen. I can't make it happen. Nobody can make it happen. What you can do is you can meichen. And the pashtus is, that is what the Yidden did by the Mishkan. By the Mishkan, the Melechas HaMishkan is not to bring the Shechina, The Shechina is Meis Hashem. That's going to be a Matanim in the Shemayim. What can they do? They can build a Mishkan. So l'chayra, building the Mishkan is not Hechsher mitzvah anymore. It's the mitzvah. Hashem gives me a mitzvah to build a place where His Shechina is going to come down. What can I do? I can build the place. I can't make the Shechina come down. I can't have Yerushalayim. I can't have Nevuah. But I can build the place. I can build the Mokum. And therefore, l'chayra, it's a getter of the Asiyah Mamish. It's not just a Hechsher mitzvah. Because that's Olam Shaykh too. Olam Shaykh too is to make the Mokum. So if that's the case, then the kasha becomes the opposite. Meaning what? Meaning we have the Meleches Mishkan is not Doicha Shabbos. Why not? Why not? What Shabbos? Shabbos Gevaldik. Shabbos is Eidos HaMayos Bereshis. Shabbos is the Oisi by Menachem, is the Ois what the Rebbeinu Shalom has with us. But look at Mishkan. V'shachanti b'soichem. I'm going to bring my Shechina into the world. As the Ramban says, it's a Hemshech of Haimer Sinai. Haimer Sinai is finding its eternal home in the Mishkan, in the Mikdash. So you tell me, this is Shabbos, comes every single week, Gevaldik Gezach. Don't minimize Shabbos. But why does it compare to bring the Shechina into the world? Why isn't the Maisa of the Leches HaMishkan, why isn't that Doicha Shabbos? That's my question. So in order to answer this, I want to bring you into the relationship between Yontif and Shabbos. The Mishnah tells us, what is that relationship? What is that comparison? Very simple Mishnah, Megillah and Dav Zayin. Ein ben Yontif l'Shabbos ela ochel nefesh b'lvad. What's the chiluk Shabbos in Yontif? Ochel nefesh is mutter on Yontif, mashen kein Shabbos it's osir. That's the chiluk. So halachically, that is the chiluk. What's the difference? But l'chayr, there's something deeper here to hear from the Gemara. In Yontif, so to speak, Kaviyachal, I have a shufis with the Rebbeinu Shalom. I'm having a chelik in bringing the Yontif. It is reflected in the bracha. Mekadosh Yisrael v'hazmanim. Part of Yontif is Mekadosh Yisrael v'hazmanim. The Yisrael, the Yid, is Mekadosh the Zmanim. That brings the Yontif. If they're not Mekadosh the Zmanim, there's no Yontif. It takes a kedusha from Yisrael. Pashain came. The bracha make on Shabbos is Mekadosh es Shabbos. There's no Yisrael in there. It's all Meis Hashem. So this Ochel Nefesh is an inyan that I have a chelik in the Yontif. It's from Klal Yisrael also. Mashain Kain Shabbos. It's not from me at all. It's Meis Hashem. It's totally from Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, what does that mean exactly? So I want to share with you a shtickle from Shimon from Pinchas Zatzal and Sefer Shabbos Malchus. He asks a kasha like this. Mitzvah on Shabbos is Hagosha Gedola Mitzvah Rabba Lohorim Mitam Tamim Medivim Mesika B'Midim Meruba. We know that on Shabbos to have delicious, yummy food on Shabbos is a big mitzvah. Kol Echek VaYakhel, anyone who whatever they can do. Although it's something called a person shouldn't tzamtzem. Person shouldn't go ahead and limit. Shouldn't hold back on Shabbos. But Dover Tzorach Bir. This needs explanation. Shelachoyra Hayaroy B'Yom Kodesh Zel Tzamtzem B'Inyani Olam Hazeh. It should be for care. It should be the opposite. On Shabbos, we should limit what we take in. Why? Because the more the guf has pleasure, the more the guf has pleasure, so that l'choira is the opposite of ruchnius. And yet we see what? The pasuk says, "V'kras Shabbos oinig." V'koris hainu kriya Shem. The name of Shabbos is oinig. V'shem hoyam magdas kol muhus. That's magdas muhus. That's really defining the day. How can it be on the day of a Kodesh Baruch Hu we're doing those things which seem to be the opposite? They seem to destroy Kedusha. We're involved with our guf. Feeding the guf. And don't stop. Onik Shabbos. Weiter. Noch a piece of code. Noch a cookie. Whatever you want. Whatever you like. Better. More Onik Shabbos. It's the opposite of Kedusha. This is my melacha shtiyah. It should be like Yom Kippur. Should be that we should have a tinus from Bechila on Shabbos. What's the pshat? What we're doing on Shabbos, only Shabbos, seems to be the opposite of what Shabbos is all about. It's Roman Ruchnius. So give Shimshon Pinchas Zatzal. Now, ha'orah she'omer Bal Yavodah. The Bal Yavodah give the following order. What's the chil between Shabbos and Zmani Kodesh Yontif? Shemoyed Kodesh hey Moshe Lamelech she's Arach Etzel Kfar. That by the days of Kodesh by Yontif, the king is coming into the village. And everyone's preparing, everyone's cleaning up their house and spiffing it up in such a way that this Roy the Melech should come into their house. Because Shabbos, he mishal l'kforish chuzman beis hamelech. By Shabbos is not the pshat the Melech is coming to us. We're going to the Melech. We're going into his world. Yom Tov, he's coming into our world. We're going into his world. What's a pshat? Because for Kodesh Baruch Hu, by Shabbos, there's nothing in this world that can contain him. What happens on Shabbos? Everything becomes shavas, everything becomes silent. For olam haba, we go to olam haba. What's the pshat? Because on Shabbos, it's not in our world anymore. We're going into his world. We're going into the world of olam haba. Meis Hashem. Kaddish says Shabbos, we're going to Kodesh Baruch Hu's world. Sha'achila shebo ein achila olam hazeh is klal. The achila on Shabbos is not achila of olam hazeh. El achila is olam haba mamish. We are living in the world of olam. We're eating. It's achila of olam haba. Tzaddikim Yoshua Yosei B'Rosheim and then Mishchina. We're like sitting like tzaddikim in mamish in the next world. Upshita sha'achila olam haba enos haser shleimus hakdusha. That's not a problem. In this world, if we're going to go ahead and eat to our heart's delight, then we're destroying ourselves in terms of ruchnis. It's the opposite. That's not what's going on in Shabbos at all. Shabbos are in Kodesh Baruch Hu's world. It doesn't touch our ruchnis. It's more than the fact that it's not a stira to Kedusha Shabbos. It's more than that. It's not that it's not a shter to our Kedusha, but it builds Kedusha. The only Shabbos builds Kedusha. Shabbos is a Kodesh Baruch Hu's day. It's not our day. On this day, told us Kedusha. The Baruch wants us to have Kedusha. The thing we're telling the Klapid Ritzoni is Baruch. In other words, our whole idea of Shabbos is to bevatel our Ratzon totally to Kodesh Baruch Hu. What's his Ratzon? His Ratzon is he wants us to have Tanig. That's why he created us. You look at the first words of Mesilas Yesharim. That Adam, what's he created for? For Tanig. He's created for pleasure. So Shabbos is a day where we can let loose and have as much pleasure as possible. Why? Because it's all with kavanah, it's Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's not to fill my boich. It's not that my stomach should be full. It's Kodesh Baruch Hu wants me to have pleasure. So in the world and every day, I can't have all the pleasure I want because it's going to destroy me, chas v'shalom. The more I become guf, the less I'm ruchni. But on Shabbos, that's not what's going on here. I'm not in this world anymore. I'm Kodesh Baruch Hu's world. And what does he want me to do? He wants me to experience pleasure in its highest unbridled form. Because that's why I was created. I was created to have that pleasure. That's why I was created for. He gives me an opportunity, so to speak, in this world to experience the next world of pleasure. So now we can come around. Now we understand what Shabbos is. We can understand why Meleches Mishkan is not Docha Shabbos. Meleches Mishkan is Shechanti B'Seichem. It fills the world with Kedusha. But it's this world. And this world doesn't compare to the next world. And the next world is what it's all about. We were created for Olam Haba, not for Olam Hazeh. So even though Shechanti B'Seichem is the greatest level of Kodesh Baruch Hu's Mitzias in this world, but it doesn't compare to the next world. Meleches Mishkan is like Yontif. Yontif is Kodesh Baruch Hu coming into this world. Shechanti B'Seichem, Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to come into your world. But Yontif, he says, I'm going to come into your world. You Mekadosh me in this world. Shabbos is not that at all. Shabbos is not the greatest level of Kedusha in this world. Shabbos is entering to a different world. And that's why Einig, which is something which should be usher in this world on Shabbos, on Yom Kedusha, it's for care. It's not only usher, it's the mitzvah. The Sanag al Hashem. That's what Shabbos is. So that's why the Meleches Mishkan can't be Docha Shabbos. Because Meleches Mishkan is a lower madrega kaviyachol, because it's filling this world with Kedusha. Hashem Shabbos is going to the next world. That's the Tachlis itself.